Warning, F-bombs are armed and will be dropped. No avoiding it this time. Alright, yes, I know I've been gone for a while. Alright, I'm recording on my camera because I don't have any other options at this point. I really want to address the events of the last 6 months or so because that's about how long it's been. And it is what it is. I'm sorry, there's not much I can do about it yet. A lie needs many words, the truth but a few. I want you to remember that as I go through the rest of this. A lie needs many words, the truth but a few. Okay, I want to start with the Trump assassinations. Oh yeah, going back to that. The first one failed because he went for a headshot. That is very difficult under the best of circumstances. Those were not the best of circumstances. And yet he actually did fairly well considering what he was up against. I would say I want to commend him, but yeah, no, I really don't. All right. It was a bad idea to start to finish. The second one appears to not actually maybe have been an actual attempt. He had the gun, he was at the fence line, but he didn't take a shot. Maybe this is because Secret Service opened fire on him first and he just totally panicked. Maybe not. I don't. We can never really know what was totally in his mind. If anything was in his mind. Kind of is what it is. Now, I've been hearing a whole lot about the gun. Right? First, it was an AK-47. Now, stop. I understand why somebody who doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about and will call an SKS an assault rifle might not know what they're looking at because they're fucking retards. They'll say exactly the thing that they want to hear, and if they have some way to amplify their voice, oh, they'll take it absolutely. I think it's fairly conclusive at this point that no, it was not an AK-47, it was not a Dragunov, it was never a Dragunov. You could take one look at that and say, yeah, no, that's not a Dragunov. Where did you get that from? It was an SKS, and I've been hearing some things, SKS, shit tier gun. No, it's actually an excellent infantry rifle at the World War II standard. It's still an excellent second tier rifle, and they remained in service as as sniper rifles, really, until at least sometime in the 80s with Russia. Those are actually really good guns, and the modifications I could see, the scope is it left a lot to be desired. In fact, it left nothing to it was crap. I've heard it referred to as the Syrian mod. Apparently this is a thing that's very popular in third and more so fourth tier terrorists. All right. If you're going to get a true sniper rifle, just get a true sniper rifle. Lee Harvey Oswald did it with a Mannlicher. All right, that's a bolt action, and yes, I know people are going to say, no, he didn't take the shot. Yes, he did. All right, other people have done it since then. They've proven it's true. He could have taken the shots. I believe Lee Harvey Oswald took the shots because Lee Harvey Oswald knew what he was doing. He was not an incompetent buffoon. Leftists, please stop sending us your worst people. Right? If you're going to try, actually try. Use someone who knows what they're doing. It's getting to be a little embarrassing at this point. On a related note, Joe Biden, after the shooting, after the second shooting, well, after the first shooting, at least, and I'm led to believe after the second shooting, was on apparently The View. And somebody made a comment comparing Trump to a bug, and Joe slapped his hand on the table. After specifically saying, we got to tone down the rhetoric. Slapping a table as if there was a bug on it after your rival has been compared to a bug is not toning down the rhetoric. It's the exact opposite of toning down the rhetoric. I don't know what the hell you were thinking there, Joe, but that was a very, very hypocritical decision to make. If you say you want to tone down the rhetoric, you probably should start with your own. Okay. Apropos of very little here, there seems to be a little bit of a debate, something like a debate, between the M7 and the HK416. All right. They're both seem to be really good guns. Both of them really are patterned on the M16. The HK416, what they did was they took the gas tube out and replaced it with a piston, the full-length gas tube, and replaced it with a piston. Okay. Why? Because it works in more environments. It works under rougher conditions. Okay. All right. Great. Good. There's been a few modifications made to the design since then, but it looks like a reasonably good design. The M7 is an M16 pattern as well. Basically, it's a larger caliber version, and it's got a few tweaks to it that are kind of unique. Which one is actually going to win the long-term game? I think it's going to be the M7. I know the Marines just invested heavily in the HK416, and it will serve their purposes for at least 20 years, which is far longer than the lifespan of any one gun when it's being used so repetitively and so intensely as a military branch does use their guns. But I think eventually the 416 is going to be replaced with the M7. It's just that much of a sea change. It's not going to be quick. As a matter of fact, Army adoption is not going nearly as fast as you might think it would. But I think at the end of the day, the M7 is going to win overall. There's been several comments about how the forward assist is not needed. Well, okay. Here's 3 people who've actually used the forward assist. First of all, Papa Carey. All right, he's been on the channel before. Don't tell me he doesn't exist. Do you want me to drag him in here? Please tell me you want me to drag him in here. All right. When he was in Vietnam, running around with his Marines, he used the forward assist. I think he said an average of about once a week. once a week is not as intense a combat as you might think. All right, but he did use it. But of course, he used it in Vietnam when things were a little bit different. The M16 has had a lot of changes since then, right? Well, and bear in mind, I'm strictly stateside here. I have never been outside the continental United States in my duties as a coastie, with the exception of two overnights in Canada on the buoy tender, where we weren't actually working. We were just tying up for the night. All right. Rather than cruise back on to home port, we made a stopover. All right. When I was at the port security unit, I shot the M16. I did. I was like, wow, this is really a thing for us. Thought this was. I didn't think this was a thing for us. Right. I had to use the forward assist. At least one of the two times I was at range, I recall I had my lieutenant, which is an 03 in the Coast Guard, on my left. I remember because his shell casings were flying out of his gun and into the sleeve of my shirt. That was not fun. At least during that one, because it was during this course of fire where he's off to my left, I had to use the forward assist once. All right, I was in the maybe third, but I'm pretty sure it was the fourth group to shoot. So this gun had already been kind of used a bit. It happens, and it had kind of been beaten up in the course of this course of fire. Right. Later on, I didn't qualify at that level, so I was not going to the burst fire range or burst fire segment. Later on, during the burst fire segment, there were a couple people that had to use them. Yeah, those guns had easily 500 rounds through them by that point. I can't actually tell you, but they would have been on their fifth or sixth course of fire at this point. It happens. I also want to point to something else. One of the arguments against the forward assist is that during during demonstrations for Congress, they tweaked a bullet to get it to jam. Yeah, and I've had that happen to me in real life. This is roughly 6 to 8 months later, off the coast of California, my M240 jammed so badly that it turned into a bolt action rifle. For those of you that don't know, I've got a bolt action machine gun story. I'll try to remember to put the link in the description. It happens. And sometimes you just got to deal with it the way it is. Now, that level of malfunction, with an M16, you just drop the clip, throw that at the bad guys, and get fresh clip and try over again. Because what else are you going to do there? You're probably in the same pile of shit anyway. And I get it. It is an apples to pears comparison. But it's still a thing that happens. On a related note, one of the people that points to the basically rigged test, demonstration rather, apparently this whole thing was restarted because a certain individual talked about using his forward assist during a particular riot. I'm not going to belabor the details here. All right, that's fine. He actually used his rifle. His rifle had actually seen, granted, domestic and limited, but it saw actual combat. As opposed to the rifle that this individual is selling, which the lower half I would absolutely buy in a heartbeat. Uh, but his rifle has never seen combat. I'm just saying. You want to complain about my apples and pears comparisons? Okay, well, go get a fucking apple. And then we can at least talk about the apples and pears. All right. I do want to point something else out. The M7 does not need a forward assist. It has the charging handle on the side. You hit that and it becomes a forward assist. That was the whole reason the forward assist was added. The M16 didn't have a side charging handle, something you could hit, right? It had that top charging handle. That's on the M7 as well, and I think that's going to go away in about 10 years. Okay. This is going to piss a lot of people off. Give a fuck. In the Russia-Ukraine conflict, first, before you read too much into what I'm about to say, I don't like Ukraine. I don't like Zelensky. I don't like any of those people. I know what they really are. All right. But what you have is one troublesome child versus a very, very dangerous psychopath who belongs in a hospital and nobody's willing to put him there. All right? That's the truth. A troublesome child versus a full-grown adult who knows exactly what he's doing. And yet, that troublesome child has proven to be a whole lot more troublesome than anybody expected. All right? We're well past 2.5 years now. And yet, the war is still going on. What happened? Well, first of all, the Ukrainians decided to fight. They chose violence. You know what? Good for you. I know certain parties are making a whole lot of noise about the way that the Ukrainian government started their defense. All right. Early in the war, the Ukrainian government took a big truck full of guns, parked it in a plaza, and basically gave guns to anybody that said that they were willing to fight the Russians. There is a certain individual. I should be naming I should be calling this guy out right now. I'm not going to for the moment. The first thing that happened after that was he accused Ukrainians of taking the guns and fighting each other in gang wars. Well, great. Show me these gang wars. Because they didn't happen. I really don't know why. I am shocked to hear this. But they didn't happen. At least not this time. I'm absolutely sure that after the war is over, those gang members who had the guns are not going to surrender them. Alright, and may go right back to fighting each other. But for right now, it seems that that's not what's happening. Oh, oops. You don't need to lie at a time like this. Alright? You just don't need to do it. And telling a lie that monumental, knowing that the evidence is proving otherwise, is really pretty fucking lame. Alright, just don't do that again. Oh, but he's already done it again. Never mind. Alright. Russia was able to advance and really well. End of last year, start of this year. They were entirely able to advance because Ukraine couldn't defend themselves at that point. They were not getting any real support. Yeah, Germany and Poland and a few others gave them some support, right? But the people that they really should have been depending on, which is the United States, fuck you if you don't like it, was doing absolutely fucking nothing. Here's a startling fact. In the 1990s Yugoslav Civil War, despite the fact that Congress would not support it, Bill Clinton smuggled guns to the Bosnians. Yeah, he just straight up had the bullets put onto planes, had the planes land in Bosnia, and there you go. Go defend yourselves. We didn't even smuggle them guns. We smuggled them ammo. Tons and tons of ammo, because that's what they actually needed. Russia was able to advance last year because Joe Biden didn't have the courage Bill Clinton had, which is really a startling thing to say. Like, I'm shocked to be able to hear those words coming out of my mouth. Now that they're getting the support that they need, Ukraine is in a position where retaking these villages is going to cost a lot of men. It looks like what they've chosen to do is instead set a line that says, okay, they've got these villages. Let them hold these villages. Keep them in these villages. Don't let them out. But in order to force the Russians to rethink their entire strategy, they literally went right around the Russian front line and struck into Kursk. And they struck pretty deep from what it sounds. Rolston on Bog. Ugh. The city where Protskin, Yevgeny, I think it is, Protskin, launched his coup 2 years ago. Yeah, that city is in striking distance. If it hasn't been taken yet, it's in striking distance. That appears to be their general target. That would absolutely cripple the Ukraine offensive because that is the supply line city. Everything is going to have to come through there or go thousands of miles out of the way. That's a big problem. That is a very, very big problem. And it shows the slight brilliance. We know we can't take them when they're dug into these villages. So we're going to cut their supply lines and starve them out or force them to retreat. I'm sure that Vlad has a few people in his office as we speak, having very long and very, very uncomfortable discussions about their career paths. But I'm pretty sure his own career path is developing some speed bumps that he didn't expect. If you think you know so much, step up, chump. Let's see what you got. Come in. All right? I will live stream off of my phone, which is horrifically inconvenient. I'll talk to probably Squatch about setting it up. Let's see what you got. Because you got not jack shit. None of you motherfuckers do. On a related subject. It has come out yesterday. Excuse me. That Lauren Chen set up a shell company called Tenet Media. Now, when I say shell company, that's not exactly fair. Front company, however, is even less honest. Her backers were outed as Russian propaganda agents. Well, okay, she wouldn't be the only Russian propaganda agents working in the U.S. No. These were GRU propaganda agents. Oh dear. Oh, Lauren, you were literally working for Russian intelligence agencies. Good job. Good job, honey. You really did great there. Now, of course, she's going to claim, well, I didn't know that they were Russian intelligence. Yeah, well, your family's been in business longer than I've been alive. You didn't know to background check your business partners? I don't believe you. Just stop. I don't believe you. Nobody's going to believe that crazy a story. You're in deep shit. You probably go into prison, and you need to accept that fact. You accepted the satanic money. Now you're stuck with it. Unfortunately, she also drew a bunch of other people into this business venture with her. Several of the names I saw in there, I know that name, and I was just really shocked to see, wow, he's involved in this? I expected better of him. She's involved in this? I expected better of her. Of course, the she was Lauren Southern, who apparently was not involved in any way, shape, or form. Oops. Don't fucking do that. But moving on, the he is actually several. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, right? That they actually just got caught up into a situation where they didn't realize where they were and who they were playing with. Not everybody, however, on the list can claim to be so honestly innocent. There is a certain individual, Matt Christensen, fuck it. Yeah, I followed him for like 3 years. And I realized very suddenly that he is an absolute liar and hypocrite. He does not believe a word of the shit he says, but he's more than happy to say it because that's what gets him the money. That's where the money's at. He demands others think critically, and then he doesn't even try to do it himself. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, I mean me, was accused of a major felony. This was not just one of those things where you pay a fine. I was accused by his other followers of smuggling guns internationally. I don't know if you know this or not, but that is a major felony. You go to prison and you never come out if they find that, yeah, you actually did the thing that you've been accused of. Well, without so much as asking, hey, Carrie, is there anything to this story? It was an automatic assumption of guilt. Oh, well, I see how you play now. Now, this is the end of about a year of bullshit. Including death threats against my kids, which he did absolutely nothing about. To this day, he has done nothing about that matter. And now here he is, standing accused of having associated with basically a Russian intelligence asset. You know, most of the people on that list, I try to give them the benefit of the doubt. Matt has openly declared that Lauren has been, Chen that is, has been on his show, that he does know her, that he is closely associated with her, that they are friends and business partners, that she has been on his show when Blonde couldn't make it. I don't even think he gave a reason, but it was right about the time she was pregnant, so that might have had something to do with it. He not only has he proven himself a hypocrite, a liar, and a grifter in the past, but now he's openly telling us that yes, I was actually a lot more familiar with this individual than just a passing knowledge. All right. I have a passing knowledge of a lot of people. I have a passing knowledge of the captain at my local fire department. I don't know where he lives. I don't know his wife's name. I'm pretty sure he said he is kid. Yeah, he has said my kids are giving me hell. Um, but that's really all I know about him. This is not that kind of situation. This is like trying to say that I don't know what the guy who stands in the next station over at work is like. Yeah, I know. He tells me all day, every day, how hypocritical it is that he works at a gun shop or just gun factory because he's a gun control supporter. And I gotta stand there and just shut up. Actually, he doesn't work there anymore. He quit. Thank God. But this is not a passing acquaintance, Matt. You know exactly who you dealt with. So all those people that you refer to as demon people, maybe you should start praying for yourself instead. You got away with the grift for a long time. Cash out now while you still can. Right, I want to close with one last thing. I know you don't want to hear this. I don't give a fuck. Iran created the coronavirus and framed China. They made it by manipulating MERS virus, which did rage through the Middle East in 2017. Then they went to they were probably headed to Shanghai as part of the naval drills that they were conducting in late 2019 between Shanghai and Beijing. If you go just a little bit out of your way, is Wuhan. Yeah, it's just a couple hours out of your way, and it is along the major freeways. So, if you were not as familiar with China's roads as you might be, if you were, say, a native, you would probably pass through Wuhan twice a day, every day. Either way, it's a couple hours out of the way. You go weekend liberty. Then you turn this virus loose. Ironically enough, in the area of a wet market that is literally less than a quarter of a mile away from the Bio 4 labs. Oh, wow. You mean the same Bio Level 4 labs that it supposedly escaped from? Yeah, that one. Where they do sell bat meat. Yeah, that one. The 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 wet market where they do sell bat meat. Oh, bat soup specifically can be found there. Oh yeah, that one. Huh. Who in their right mind would not believe this story when they heard it the first time? Nobody. Everybody would buy this story. Most people would pay cash and not take a receipt for that story. So you can't bring it back later. I was not so easily fooled. In February 2020, maybe even late January 2020, had that apostrophe in the back of my head. Hey, this virus is supposedly coming out of China. Didn't they just have a naval drill with China? Oh, yes, they did. And it was with Russia as well. Huh. Russia participated in these drills too. It took me about 10 minutes on data. I'm sitting at work as I was working security at the time. Just, you know, Shanghai. Oh, yeah, that's the big port, right? Shanghai, Beijing. Wow. Well, Google Maps is telling me to take this one route. But just looking at Google Map, I could see it was a pretty quick line between the two. Going just not that far out of the way. And Wuhan is also much closer to Shanghai than it is Beijing. Excuse me. Shanghai is closer to Wuhan than it is Beijing. Um, it was a match made in heaven. I mean, I could not have planned it to be that perfectly arranged. You know, believe what you want. I don't care. That is that is my honest and sincere belief. If you can prove me wrong, I would love to hear it. Don't tell me, hey, it's called COVID. I don't care. I really don't care. Well, it started. You obviously didn't pay any attention. All right. It would be easy to frame China for this because it would actually look like they were guilty beforehand, anyways. If you can prove me wrong, do it. I want to hear it. I would love to hear it. All right. I guess that's all I got for now. I'm going to try to start live streaming again soon enough. I'm getting a new computer. Yay. Even though I've been laid off from work, Thank you, Papa Carey. Actually, it's not a new computer; it's the old one. But Papa Carey found a new source to possibly have it repaired. So let's see what happens, and maybe I'll be able to start live streaming again here in a few weeks. I want to thank the people who have been tolerating my little troubles. Um, Goj, uh, Gershon, a few of you others. Thank you. I appreciate your patience in this matter. All right, that's it. That's all I got. Keep calm and mandatory carry on.